Hello, is anyone there? Can you see me? Can you comment? Can you comment if you can see me? Hello, is anyone there? Can you see me? Can you comment? Can you comment if you can see me? Waiting for subscribers to join. I don't know how many people are going to join. Otherwise, I'll just start with the general information. Whoever joins, just give a thumbs up when you hear me and if you can see me. Can you comment? Can you comment if you can see me? Waiting for subscribers to join. I don't know how many people are going to join. Otherwise, I'll just start with the general information. Whoever joins, just give a thumbs up when you hear me and if you can see me. Can you comment? Can you comment if you can see me? Waiting for subscribers to join. I don't know how many people are going to join. Otherwise, I'll just start with. Is the voice good now? Can you hear me? Whoever joins, just give a thumbs up when you hear me and if you can see me. Can you comment? Can you comment if you can see me? Waiting for subscribers to join. I don't know how many people are going to join. Otherwise, I'll just start with. Is the voice good now? Can you hear me? Whoever joins, just give a thumbs up when you hear me and if you can see me. Is the voice good now? Can anyone please comment? Is the voice okay? Waiting for subscribers to join. I don't know how many people are going to join. Otherwise, I'll just start with. Is the voice good now? Can you hear me? Once I'm sure that the voice is good, then I will start. Is the voice good now? Can anyone please comment? Is the voice okay? Is it okay now? I turned off the speaker. Now there should be no echo. Do you still hear echo or is it okay now? Okay, then I'll start. Okay, that's great. I turned off the speaker. I think everything will be fine. So you can type in your. Okay, great. So you can type in your questions and I will start with the general information about PhD in Netherlands. Mostly this is about PhD in Netherlands. So you can type in your questions and I will start with the general thing that I have with me. So I've made a short note to give you a brief idea about the I don't know how many of you are new to the channel. You can comment. So just for them, like I'm from India and I did my masters in computer science in TU Delft in Netherlands, and then I started my PhD in it's like a interdisciplinary program of educational science, computer science and human computer interaction. I work mostly in the Open University. I'm doing PhD. I'm completing my second year now, and around I think I started in 2017, and so that's why I thought as I'm already explaining a lot in the channel about the PhD in Netherlands, but still people have a lot of questions, so you can type in your questions in the comments. Those who are new, I'm again repeating, you can type in your questions and I will be giving general information about PhD in Netherlands, whatever I have done in different videos also before. So I will try to give it in a short format, like small bit size information when I am speaking now, and apart from that you can type in your questions who are joining now, and I will try to answer if you have some questions with you. So now I see 6 people. I think I mean I was expecting around 10, but it's fine. So the thing is that yeah, going back to my intro, what I was saying was that it's already like 2 years I'm doing PhD, and my program is not limited to Open University. So I also go to TU Delft and Frankfurt, because two of my promoters so keep typing questions, just like Nagaraj typed in his question, and sometimes in between while speaking I will pause and try to answer some questions. So probably I will be available for 1 hour or something like that till 4 p.m. as per the CEST. 1 or 1.5 an hour, it depends on how many questions you have. If you don't have too much questions, then it will finish very fast, so just grab the opportunity. Okay, so speaking about my intro, so I have like two promoters. One of them works half of the time in Open University and half of the time in Frankfurt. So that's the reason why we have this collaborations with another promoter who works half of the time in TU Delft and half of the time in Open University. So some of my experiments go to TU Delft, and some of my experiments also will be in Frankfurt later. So that's why we have this inter network collaboration. And apart from that, one thing I want to clarify is that the PhD in Netherlands is always paid. So by paid I mean it's like a job, because even after saying this 10 or 20 times in different videos, you can browse through different videos that I have made. Probably this playlist will help you. Let me open that playlist. I can show you maybe. Okay, so in this playlist I have made some videos about studying PhD in Netherlands. You can look at the playlist in my YouTube page, and there I have explained a lot about PhD in Netherlands, which should answer most of your questions apart from the other videos like shopping and everything. So there I mentioned that the first two videos are not the first one, this one, the video about my 1 week review, that is very important. That will give you a brief idea about the salary and everything that you get in when you do a PhD in Netherlands. And apart from that, you can have a look at the conference videos, summer school, and there are many other things that you can get as a PhD in Netherlands. So before continuing further, let me answer some questions, although they are not related to PhD. I think Nagaraj has a genuine question. So you want to know about the 30% ruling. What is the 30% ruling and is it applicable for PhD? Yeah, it is applicable for PhD. As I was saying before, that PhD is a job in Netherlands. So as PhD is a job, so you are paid a salary, monthly salary in the first year. If you don't get the 30% ruling, which was my case because I did my masters here according to rules, if you studied for, you have to check the website. I will send the website in the description after we finish the live stream. So they have a tax website where they are mentioned in details like how much money you will get if you get the 30% ruling, and if you are coming from abroad directly here and you have not studied here, then you are eligible for the 30% ruling for PhD. So you'll get more salary. I don't know the exact amount, but in the first year a normal student after tax, actually not a student but an employee, after tax gets like I think around 18, including the bonus, it will be around 2000 euro per month. That's what I was getting. It increases every year as per the tax. And if you have the 30% ruling, then maybe it will be like 2100 or 200. And after the first year, the next 3 years the salary is really high. So after the first year the salary is increased by like 500 euro for gross, and in net you get an increase of 200 or 300 euros. So now in the second year I'm getting like 2200 euros per month, including the bonus and everything. It's 2300 something. But if you have the 30% ruling, then probably it will be around 2500 euro per month from second year onwards, and then it will increase very less, because the reason is that I made a note about this, that the reason is that so I will give you the link later. I hope this answers your question. And to add to it, the reason of I'm just my attention is diverted by the questions. I'm seeing them. Okay, so what I was saying was about the 30% ruling in the PhD. Yeah, so that's what pretty much the salary is. And you also have other kind of bonus, like the year end bonus, 13th month bonus, holiday bonus. So there are like two bonuses you get. One is the year end bonus and one is the holiday bonus. And you also have around 39 or 40 days holidays, and the normal work period is like 38 hours per week. Normally it's 40. So if you work for 40, then you get some additional holidays. That's what they said in the contract initially. I think it is the still now it is the same. Although it's not related to PhD, but still I'm just answering. Shivesh, could you please tell us about the SIM card plan in details? 2 days back I moved to Eindhoven. I would advise you not to look at any plans, because till now I know Lebara is the best, because unless you if you want to use SIM for calling regularly, then you need that unlimited plan. So unlimited plan might be not that relevant, and I would say it's not I mean, unless you call, it's not required. If you need only internet, as I do, because we generally call mostly in WhatsApp, so then you don't need that kind of a plan. Otherwise you just now also Lebara has that pack. So every mobile, like mostly people use or Lebara, and Lebara is best for internationals. It works almost everywhere all over Europe. It has a Euro plan, and if you use only internet, it will be like 5 euro or 10 euro, and there are different packs. For 5 euro it's like 500 MB per month. And if you, I would suggest you to go with Lebara. And if you take the unlimited pack for call and everything, then it costs like 15 or 20 euro per month, which as a student I don't think you should spend that much, but choice is yours. Before going to Amit's question, let me move back to the PhD thing that I was mentioning. Let me see, what did I miss? Okay, so many people ask repeatedly, scholarship. So scholarship, as I have mentioned in the beginning also, either you get a PhD or you never get a PhD in Netherlands. It's always like a job, so you are paid a salary. So there is nothing called scholarship. So it's not like masters or something like that. You are not a student. So that answers everything regarding the scholarship thing, which I get repeatedly. And what is okay, before going to the questions, just keep on typing your questions. I will answer them soon. I am covering some details related to PhD, which are like mostly misconceptions or the questions that I have got before in the comments, or something in general information which is relevant for you. I also had this 30% ruling in my notes, so good that you asked this question. Thank you, Nagaraj. And okay, so one more thing, try to note, I will put that also in the description, that there is something called academic transfer. Maybe I will browse it with you so that you can see, because some people are applying for PhD from abroad and some people apply from I mean, not everyone is applying from Netherlands. So just type academic transfer, and then you will see like just go to the English version. They have an English version. You can also subscribe to the updates for the academic transfer, and what it does is that you can find all types of research positions in academic transfer. Just you can sort it by deadline or by fields. There is also option called field, and this website is relevant for all over Netherlands. So for Netherlands, if you want to find a PhD, postdoc, or any research related positions, it is the best website. Not one of the best, it is the best website. And every advertisement, every opening, every vacancy is published in academic transfer. So try to have a look at it, even if you are abroad or you are in Netherlands. It will help you a lot. I have also mentioned about this in some of my videos. Just check that playlist which I was talking about in the beginning, about studying PhD in Netherlands. Just go through that playlist. So what was the okay, now talking about if you want to apply rest of Netherlands, like outside of Netherlands, you can see euraccess.eu or something like that. That is also a good one. Keep on typing your questions. Let me answer some more questions. So Amit said that, can I apply for PR after masters of 2 years? What are the requirements for PR? If I do masters, then PhD from Netherlands, do I get advantage? Let me pick up my phone, otherwise it's very looks bad. Do I get advantage while applying for PR? Okay, yeah, so the thing is that till now, whatever I know, because one of my friend who is from China, that is what I was talking about. The reason I didn't make a PR video is that for everyone else, PR is permanent residence. So there is something called permanent residence in Netherlands when you've stayed for a longer time, and it gives you a lot of other benefits, just like Europeans have, like different kind of mortgage and other kind of benefits. And you can apply for it once you stay 5 years in Netherlands. That is the rule in Netherlands. So apart from that, you need to qualify certain exams, for which I will make, that's the reason why I will make a PR video which I will explain in details. It is difficult to say this, and this is also not the topic of the live stream, but it's related to PhD, that's why I'm answering it in brief. So the minimum, first and foremost condition is to stay for 5 years in Netherlands, and you need to give certain exams that I will cover. And there is one of my friend from China, he is applying now for PR because he has already stayed for 7 years, I think. He's done his bachelor's also here, and he's doing PhD with me. So you will see him in a short interview, maybe in December or January 2020. In details, he will explain what it needs to apply for PR and what was his experience, because he's applying PR. Probably he will get it in 2020 first quarter or something like that. I don't know exactly. Okay, this answers Amit's question. Let me answer the Vyangsu's question, and then I will go again to my notes to explain some other details about the PhD. I will slowly cover everyone's question, don't worry. Try typing your questions, whatever questions you have during my discussion or maybe you had before, and I will be covering certain aspects and requirements and what it entails for doing a PhD in Netherlands. So this answer is yes, Amit, because if you do masters here in the same country and you then do a PhD, then obviously you are at advantage of applying for PR. So basically, if you finish your third year of your PhD and you don't have a residency gap, so you have stayed in Netherlands legally for continuously masters and then PhD for 3 years, then at the beginning of your fourth year or towards the end of your third year, you can start applying for PR, if that is your case. Okay, so before moving to Divyangsu's question, I will cover some more thing. I covered the 30% ruling, salary, savings. So there is a cost of living video. You can go to the cost of living video to be, I think everyone has seen it, it will waste time to go to it maybe. You can browse it, it is in the top, always in the top. So there I have mentioned in detail. So on an average, if I give you idea, even if you eat out sometimes, that is the only thing which you spend a lot, apart from the rent and other things are not that expensive. Even if you travel, you should save 50% on a PhD salary. On a PhD salary, in the first year it might be difficult if you are a one person, if you are living alone, then it is very easy to save 50%. You should save more than 50% in the second year onwards. This is because many international students, mostly people from India and other Asian countries, have loans. So that's why I just wanted to mention this to make it clear. And apart from that, for applying for a PhD, obviously you can check academic transfer, and you need to have a good profile. So okay, so maybe before answering Divyanshu's question, I will go to Sunil's question, which is more related to what I am saying now, and then I will answer his question. Are there any universities that have greater acceptance rates? I'm looking for universities which somehow I can manage to get admission, since I haven't been getting very good CGPAs. So I know in general how they treat the CGPA. That is like a, I mean, it's difficult for me to generalize, but whatever I know, if you compare to Germany, Netherlands, most universities are not GPA centric. So by that I mean that even if you have a CGPA between 7 and 7.5, if you are coming from India, which is Sunil's case because he commented a lot, so before, so then you have a chance, you still have a chance to get a PhD, but you need to have a good thesis and if possible some publication. Publication is not mandatory, but if you have a good thesis, that helps you a lot. I mean, in my case, if you take my example, if you see one of my video I made about accidents in Netherlands or something, how I got a PhD in Netherlands by accident. There is a nice video where I describe my short story in 10 minutes or something like that. You can find in my channel. I mentioned that I had like 7, I mean my CGPA when I applied for the PhD was 7.2 on a Dutch scale because I did my masters here. So as I was from Netherlands, that's why I had an advantage. But even if you are from India, the thing I wanted to, the moral of this is that even if you have between 7 and 7.5, you still have a chance. You need to have a good motivation letter, and motivation letter is actually not that important because it's like a job. So the main important thing is your thesis, because when you are chosen for a position, it can be either industrial or non-industrial. That's my next point in the note, I think. Yeah, that's my next point in the note. So I just made some notes so that I can explain you something, so that it is clear for you. There is something called the, what was that? Just wait, let me see. Okay, so if you can see my notes, I don't know how good it looks on the screen. What I was saying about Sunil, so you, apart from the CGPA and all these things that I mentioned, you need a good profile, that is the thesis, because you have two types of PhD. One is the industrial, project based or non project based. So most of the PhDs, the way the PhD is created is like you have a yes, Parth, you can type in your questions. I will try to answer them at the end of the video so that people who watch it later will not be bored, because the main topic is PhD in Netherlands. So because you are chosen, you choose a topic, so you don't have the liberty to choose a topic when you are given a PhD. most of the PhDs have a predefined topic, although they ask you to write a proposal after you start a PhD, and most of these are like industrial or project based, and some are non-project based, just similar to my case. But project based PhDs are more in common, so they have a huge giant project of million or billion-dollar euros and billion euros, then they divide that to like 10 PhDs or some postdocs, and that's how your funding is created. So that's the reason why they have a partnership with the university. So sometimes you have to work like 30 or 40% of the time in the university, and 60% of the time in the other place like the industry, sometimes in Tata, depending on where you are. So the internal PhDs are, I would say, like sometimes you have more liberty, because in my case I had the liberty. Sometimes it may be bad, sometimes it may be good. So because of this liberty, I could choose my topics. When I did a I would say like a non-industrial PhD, non-project based PhD, I had the liberty to decide my area of research. But in a way that also makes it difficult when you are in that vast pool and you go to narrow down your topics. So you also collaborate with other universities, as I mentioned in the beginning, about TU Delft and Frankfurt, and also other places. And regarding the number of publications and their work experience, basically here most people do a PhD after getting some work experience, because that helps them a lot when they develop some prototype. I'm speaking on the pure background of computer science, but even if you are in other mechanical PhDs, you also, if you have some lab experience, it helps. But it depends, so they don't give any preference if you have work experience or not, but most people prefer that to do over here. So it's up to you. And speaking about me, I have zero work experience. I have never worked, just continued my masters and then PhD. And regarding the number of publications, I made a video on that, like you need a 4 or you need 4, but that is not hard and fast rule. So before going to other topics, let me answer some more questions so that people don't get annoyed or bored, I don't know. Okay. So all the questions that are not related to this discussion, like the masters and other questions, I will answer them at the end. You have to wait because the main theme is PhD. So Sunil's question is gone. Let me answer Divyangshu's question, which I missed before, and then I will again continue. Okay, Divyangshu. So how is the Erasmus University Rotterdam for PhD in human resource? So I don't know exactly, to be frank, about doing a PhD in human resource, but what I know is Erasmus University in Rotterdam, I have been there before, because one of my promoters, or as the professors are called promoters here in Netherlands, he is the director of education center of education and learning, so he frequently visits there, and I have been there with him to Erasmus University Rotterdam. And it's pretty good campus, because you will find a lot of internationals, people who also do MBA in the Erasmus Rotterdam. They also, you get to meet them, and the atmosphere and everything is really nice. But I don't know exactly about the human resource, but as a university, Erasmus University Rotterdam is well reputed and very good. Frankly speaking, apart from some 1 or 2 universities, most universities in Netherlands are of good quality, because Netherlands is a very small country. So, and even it's difficult for me when you ask this type of questions. I can speak what I know, but obviously I cannot. So best will be, I would say, maybe if you are looking for PhD in that, or if you have already applied, I don't know, you can maybe like look in academic transfer or LinkedIn. Mostly PhD positions you can find in academic transfer, and if you want to look into a particular professor's profile, just look in Scholar or LinkedIn. That's how you search for a, based on my experience, I would say the person under whom you are doing a PhD, that is also in my notes, I will go back to that now. That is your supervisor or promoter, the full professor, whatever they call it here, is very much more important than the institution. So because you see, like in my case, my institution relation is too less, I stay there very few time, but the relationship with my team or the promoter, even if I meet them online via Skype or face to face, that is very important. You should have a good understanding. I made a video, two videos you can see in the Studying PhD in Netherlands playlist, about the relationship, how important is the supervisor during a PhD, and what kind of understanding you should have, the rapport you should build initially, so that because it's like a 4-year thing, it's like a big commitment, and at the end of your first year, you are reviewed, the PhD gets reviewed, and then your contract is extended. So the PhD initially is for 1 year, uh, the duration is 4 years. You get the PhD contract for 1 year, that I mentioned in the week 1 video. You should check the week 1 video in my weekly PhD vlogs. The sometimes people say that the weekly PhD vlogs are, I mean, if you are not interested for PhD, then there is no point of watching the weekly PhD vlogs. But some of the weekly PhD vlogs, apart from talking about other things in my PhD life, I also share this short information. So if you don't watch them, then you will miss a lot. So I would say you should give it a watch if you are interested to do PhD later or sooner. So the PhD supervisor relationship is very important, and at the end of the 1 year you get a review, and when your review is done, then your contract is again extended for 3 more years. So initially you get a contract of 12 or 15 months, and then you get a contract extension, and to get that, it's not easy, I would say. I mean, 90% of the time people's contract are extended, but then if you don't have that good relationship, sometimes people are not satisfied with what they are doing, their field of research or their supervisor. So that's why if you don't have that good start, then you will have a lot of issues, and you might have to quit the PhD at the end of the first year. So that's very important. And you get all types of bonus, travel, compensation, everything. What did I miss? So how you write a PhD thesis, that will obviously be a video later when I start writing PhD thesis, and maybe I will share something. I made a video, by the way, people also who are doing masters, it is relevant for you, that I made a comparison video between master thesis and PhD thesis. So if you are interested to do a PhD later, then you should check that video about the comparison between master thesis and PhD thesis. I don't know if I can show you. Can I? I'm not sure if I can show you. Anyways, leave it. I mean, it's already okay. So you can watch it. So it very clearly distinguishes the workload and everything you do in a master thesis, and the workload and you need to do in a PhD thesis. There is a clear distinction. I have answered that in that video, and you can go through that video to understand it. So getting back to the questions, is there any question related to PhD? Let me see. Can you please give a brief information regarding the duration of work visa in Netherlands after masters? Saurav, there is a famous video. So now I am answering the other questions that I have in the Q&A, and if you are new, then you can watch it later, whatever I have said about PhD in Netherlands, and you can still, you have time to type in your questions if you want about PhD in Netherlands. So Saurav, can you please give a brief information regarding the duration of work visa? So there is a famous video on that. I don't know how you have not seen it. Everyone should see it. I'm just joking, because it has already got like 28k views. I never expected it to get 28k views, but it has already got it. So that's why I said like, how could you miss that video? So there is a video called "Working in Netherlands." Just click on it and you will see like. I don't know the timestamp. You need to search for it because you are looking for it, and there you will find the interview. Everything is mentioned there. So the point I'm trying to make is that in that video I explained clearly about the how much. What was your question again? Can you please give a brief information regarding the duration of work visa in Netherlands after masters? Yeah, so there I mentioned clearly the duration is 1 year, and that is called Zoekjaar visa. Zoekjaar, I don't know if I pronounced the Dutch correctly. Till now I didn't pay that much attention to pronounce Dutch. That is called Zoekjaar visa, search year visa, or after education visa or search year visa. And in that 1 year you can search for a job. It starts immediately after you finish your masters, and you cannot stay more than 1 year. That is the only time window that you have to find a job. And in that video I have explained it in detail. Just check that work in Netherlands video. So Parth has a lot of questions. No, it was Saurav. So can you please give a brief? Yeah, so Path, what did Path say? Can you make a video regarding Visa Forex cards are not valid in Dutch supermarkets? It's not completely true. It's not related to PhD, but I'm just answering his question. What did Sunil say? It diverted my attention. Sorry. When you are seeing three different screens, like the setup that I have made now, I cannot show you, so I am quite distracted by everything. Sunil is saying people don't really talk about these things to help others out. I really appreciate your efforts. You are helping people. Thanks a lot. Thank you very much. I don't know how much I could help, because till now I have got a lot of questions about MBA, MBBS and different fields. My field was mostly in computer science, so that's why I talk about masters and bachelors and PhD in the beginning. So I have asked some people. If you have seen my cricket in Netherlands video, I made a cricket in Netherlands video. Today I recorded another video. Probably it will come after 1 month. There I found a lot of people whom I can do short interviews. So just an update for everyone that there will be some more videos in 2-3 months coming about MBA in Netherlands, MBBS in Netherlands, medical in Netherlands, life sciences in Netherlands. So I will try to touch upon different fields. And recently, if you have seen the videos, I have also expanded to Germany and other cities. So I'm not trying to compete with anyone. It's just the information that are not available, I'm trying to give it, so to fill in all the gaps of other European countries. And for Netherlands it will continue as such. So share among your friends, help each other. If we get some time, it's very nice to help each other. Regarding Parth, the Visa Forex cards are not valid in Dutch. So I have used Visa Forex card in Yumbo and it worked. In Yumbo the Visa Forex card worked. So I think in Albert Heijn it doesn't work. That's what my experience was. So it's not true for all the supermarkets, but most supermarkets it won't work. And I might make a video on that. I'm not sure. I cannot give guarantee, but maybe I'll make it later, not now. Like now people have already come, maybe for the next year batch when I make another video series on problems in LLM. But it's a very good suggestion. Thank you, Parth. Can you please, Saurav is finished, are there specific credits which we need to study while masters so that we can apply for a, yeah, so that's what I said. It won't work in Albert Heijn, but it works in Yumbo. So you can go to Yumbo. But I should have mentioned this before, but see, things I forget. That's the reason why I do this live sessions, where I get to hear your problems and then I remember, okay, I missed this and I can also mention this. Anyways, thank you for joining. And Parth also had another question. Are there specific credits which we need to study while master so that we can apply for PhD? No, there are no such specific credits, although they ask for a transcript. So when I think I missed that in the beginning of the video, when I applied for the PhD, my grade was 7.2 or 7.3, and my thesis was not finished because I got my PhD before I was on the mid of my thesis. So when I was applying, I was already like just starting my thesis. I didn't have a thesis grade to show them. But I think at that time I already had my publication. Publication is not important, I mean, not mandatory, but obviously it adds to your profile. Like, who can deny the importance, the benefit of a publication? So, the subject grades, that's why I'm saying this, was that my grade was very low. But if you see the Dutch grading system, I have replied about that in the Quora. Have you seen my Quora profile? I don't know, I will show you, because I answer a lot. I don't know how many of you use Quora. So I have answered a lot of questions in Quora, where what are my chances at TUDEL? That was the top answered question. So there I don't remember, I cannot find it now, but I have answered this question about the credits thing, that why you get less grades in Netherlands. So that's why I was talking about this, that you don't get a very high grade because they follow a conservative grading system. If you are above 8, then it is already a distinction. So most people in Netherlands are between, I would say 6 is pass. So if you have a grade between 7 and 8, then it's really good. But if you are applying for PhD in Germany with that grade, maybe it might create problem. I'm not sure about it, but for Netherlands it's fine, like it's not a bad score. So the thesis is really important, because at that time, even though my thesis was not finished, they asked a lot of questions about the thesis. Okay, thank you Parth, that my videos have helped you a lot and you have checked the Quora. That's good. Actually the Quora thing was for everyone. And so talking about the subjects, they are not actually important. The thesis is more important for applying for PhD. And if you are applying for PhD, I would highly advise you to either do a research industrial thesis where you get paid and it has some element of research, more importance to research, or you do a thesis in the university where you don't get money, but still it is useful. Otherwise, you have this third X option, which most people don't know. You can also do a thesis with another university, and in that case you need to be highly proactive and you need to arrange all these things. Unless, it does not need that you are really intelligent, but you can manage many things at the same time. So that is another option you have. And so the answer is no, but some cases it might be. So for example, in my case, if someone wants to do some kind of traffic recognition or some kind of how do you say, like some kind of any kind of research, sorry, I'm getting diverted by the questions. Any kind of traffic recognition or any kind of deep learning stuff like you do in computer science. I don't know how many of you know about deep learning that they use nowadays in artificial intelligence. I think at least you have heard that term. Then you might need certain subjects when you are studying computer science masters, like pattern recognition or something like what do you say, machine learning. There are courses in TUDEL. So in some specific cases you might need one or two subjects which you will already know, because when you start your thesis they will ask you to do that set of courses before you can start that thesis, because you need to apply that knowledge. So that's the reason why that kind of so you will already know, otherwise it's not required. Okay, have you heard about Han University of Applied Science? I have heard about it a lot. I think most people, if I'm not wrong, correct me, go to Han University of Applied Science for doing automotive. So as of now, because I have not studied in applied science university, I can tell you that applied science is like less research based, more application based. You learn by doing things more, as compared to research universities where you get both the experiences, like application and also the theory and the research part or the analytical part. So in short, I would say applied science is less analytical, and Han University Applied Science, I've heard about it a lot. Uh, so in that sense, I would say it's a good university. Okay, so there are, I don't know if people are getting questions. I will finish also my notes because I had some other notes about the PhD which most people don't know, as this video was about PhD in Netherlands. But before that, I will go to the video of what was his name, Bharat. Bharat has said that thanks Sambit for all the resources and help. Really like your channel. Do people with PhD in computer science get jobs in industry? Yes, they get jobs in industry. It obviously it is up to you. Like you can still go in the academic line. So I all these things what I'm saying now is not based on concrete facts, but whatever I've heard, it's like all the hearsays. So some of the people, some of the Chinese, they were like senior, but they were there in Tudel, whatever I've heard. Some people apply for jobs and they get it immediately, maybe in IBM or some TNO is a very local scientific company who has a lot of R&D. So mostly people go for R&D and consultancy type of jobs after you finish a PhD, because that's a very high level degree. And it's also not true that you don't have many options. You have a lot of options. You need to obviously go through that process and find it. And apart from that, R&D, you can obviously, I have heard that some people also face problems in getting R&D, and then they go for postdoc. Sometimes people go for postdoc because they want to be in the academic line, but sometimes people go forcefully because in postdoc you get a very high salary, but still it's not a good trajectory if you want to go for industry later. I mean, it's already a high level degree after PhD. So that's the thing. Okay, Parth, that's great that you have enrolled for the automotive systems, although I don't know anything about automotive systems. I would say join the Facebook group. I don't know how many of you know about it, because many people ask questions in Instagram. So that is one thing I want to say, is that if you ask questions in Instagram, I would not say it is bad, but I don't like it. So normally you get a reply after maybe 1 week or 2 weeks or even late. So that's why I would highly request you to join that Facebook group, because there are also other people, moderators. Some are studying in Germany, some are in Netherlands. So I'm trying to build this network where people can offer you advice about Germany, Netherlands. It's not that I'm doing videos about Netherlands, so you should study in Netherlands. If something is better in Germany, like I mentioned in my previous videos, because the education is free, then go for Germany. Like it depends particularly in your case. Like I'm just trying to inform you, I'm not trying to force you to make a decision. I'm not like taking money from you. So yeah, so Path, if you join that group, there is a guy, I think he's the admin now, and he check the Facebook group. I am not showing it here because I see a drop in the frame rate, so my video might be freezing. So I don't want to change my scene. So the thing is that if that guy is now doing masters in automotive systems in Eindhoven, I think it's exactly automotive or not, I don't know, but it's related. If you join the Facebook group, which is always in the description of my video, if you browse through the description of each videos, you can ask him and he will offer you some idea about the automotive. He's doing it in TU Eindhoven, but he can give you an idea about automotive and what are the jobs and other things. That's the reason we have this group. So there are people from varied backgrounds who can help each other, because I am not God that I can help everyone about the fields that I don't know. I'll just say it's good. Then how does it make sense? Before going to other questions, if you have questions, keep on typing them. I'll probably wrap up the video in 10 to 15 minutes. So before that, I will talk something more about the PhD in Netherlands from my notes, obviously. What did I miss? Let me have a look for 10-20 seconds. Okay, so what are the best cities to live in Netherlands? People ask that a lot. So all these best cities that I will mention now are based on my experience and what I've heard from people. It's nowhere related to exactly the best as people rank it, and it's also not related to the PhD. It's just for living, not for doing PhD. So I would say go with 4-5 cities like Delft, Den Haag, or the Hague, Rotterdam, Maastricht, and Amsterdam. Amsterdam is a very beautiful city. It's really nice with canals and beautiful sceneries and everything, just like Maastricht. But I went with Amsterdam at the end because Amsterdam is shit expensive to. It's really expensive. Otherwise, everything else is fine. I mean, in terms of rent, because food and everything is same all over Netherlands. So one thing I missed was the part-time versus full-time PhD. So there is something called part-time PhD. In Netherlands, you can do a part-time PhD, which is, I think most people know it, but if you're coming from abroad, they don't have an idea. So what you do in a part-time PhD is like it continues for 5 or 6 years instead of the regular 4 years period. And in that time, you can, I would say, like work in a company or teach somewhere depending on what you're doing, or do entrepreneurship, and you can also do the PhD. So obviously that depends on the supervisor. I have made a series of video on this, like part 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and in that video I have explained about part-time PhDs. I don't know if it's here or somewhere. Playlists, I think it was in the studying PhD in Netherlands, somewhere I mentioned about the part-time PhDs. So come on, stop the stream, otherwise it will slow down the video. Okay, so there was a guy, yeah, this guy. So his name is Nati. He is doing part-time PhD. He is actually Dutch, but you can follow a lot of the interview sessions that I did with him. There are different parts. I'm just showing one video. And there was a weekly PhD vlog where I brought him and he explained the difference between part-time and full-time PhD if you are choosing to do a part-time PhD, and what are the advantages and disadvantages of each of them. And so you can check this guy's profile, or if you have any question about part-time PhD, he can answer it. And his name is Nadi Fanchamps. And apart from that, you can come here, and I think there is a weekly PhD vlog where yeah, this one. So check this video. It will be very clear. The video name was, it was the week 8 of my vlog in Netherlands, PhD vlog, because I make weekly PhD vlogs where I share small tips. They are not always boring as many of you think. So there I mentioned about the part-time versus full-time PhD, and I think if you go to 8 minutes or something like that, you can skip the first part if you are not interested. And I think I have given a timestamp in the description. Yeah, so there is a description timestamp for each one of you to be sure of what is that. And go to 8:42. If you go to 8:42, you'll find the interview, and there he explains very vividly what is the difference between part-time and full-time PhD. So that will make everything clear for each one of you. I think I'm talking a lot. Let me check my notes. I think I am also feeling tired. How do you write a PhD thesis? I'll make it later. Okay. Yeah, so I covered everything. I'll last 2 things about the PhD, and in that meantime you have still 5 or 6 minutes more to type in more questions. Otherwise I will just mention the things that I'm saying and I will finish the video in 10 minutes or something like that. So you can check my PhD story to understand how I applied for PhDs, because that is a struggle. So even if you are a very bright student or a very as people think that they are average or something like that, you should never think like that, because it's not good. I mean, why should you underwhelm your own potential? So you can check that PhD story. It's kind of inspiring also, because when I watch it again and again, I also feel inspired, and maybe you might also feel inspired. I don't know. But so the thing is that the point I wanted to make is that in that I explained how I applied multiple applications. So for PhD, you need to be patient. Before you start a PhD, you need to apply a lot. Suppose you are doing masters here, still you are not sure that you will get in Netherlands. So I was continuously applying for Netherlands, Germany, Belgium, and even I got admit, but that was towards the end. Initially there were like 20 rejects. So the thing I wanted to make is, some people may apply 100, some may apply 500. So that's just a number. So the thing is, you can apply 10, you might be lucky in 12, maybe 100. So don't go after the number, and don't lose that rhythm. You should always have that rhythm to continuously apply, and then you will hear the results. Because the thing is, it's not that you are bad or good for that position, you are not fitting. So that is the best word to describe it. You are not fitting for their requirements and what you offer as a candidate, as a PhD candidate. So that match can be found when you make noise. That's how, like, you apply in 100 places and somehow you fit. Miss Animator, I will answer your questions. I have seen them. At the end of the video, I'll just cover some more things, unless I get more questions. So PhD defense in Netherlands is you can browse online to see some vlogs if people have made, I think, before, but I will make lot of vlogs on that, and it will soon be, YouTube will be filled with PhD defense in Netherlands vlogs. So one of our colleague is defending in October or September. There will be vlogs on that. So the defense in Netherlands is one of the best, because it is very ceremonious, and it's a different kind of environment, vibe, ceremony, and you won't find in many places in the world. I think except Finland, it is one of the best. It's a really nice occasion, and it's something else. If you see the video, you'll understand. I cannot explain. And obviously I'll make a video on PhD thesis. What did I miss from my notes? Quickly scanning through my notes. Okay, yeah. So last thing from my notes is that if you are doing a PhD, then you get paid conferences and summer schools to visit. I have also made videos on that, you can check them. So you can go for all the conferences and summer schools right from your visa, daily expenses, hotels, everything is paid by the university. And as you are employee, you have a contract, so you get all these benefits. You can be paid for everything right from A to Z, like your coffee, lunch, everything. So there's nothing you spend, you don't spend a single penny from your pocket. And if you work hard, you publish a lot or organize workshops, then you also get to travel in the in disguise, I would say. Like, so it's a very good, so the point, the reason I made this was to end my discussion is that PhD in Netherlands is not depressing as people call. Like, PhD, I have not taken a single vacation, I'm not able to move outside, I'm quite tensed and blah blah blah, all this type of stuff. Like, it's not true. Like, you have a lot of other perks and benefits, and you can go, if you publish like this, like take for my example, people are traveling even more than me, like who are doing PhD in Netherlands. But in my case, this year only I have already traveled to like Bari, Lyon, like in Italy, France, and in October I will be going to China. You will see some China vlogs because one of my doctoral consortium got accepted with full scholarship. So I am not paying anything, obviously, and I am supported by that scholarship and my university to go to China, including from visa and everything. So the point I'm trying to make is, I'm not trying to brag, but I'm trying to say is PhD is a, obviously you need to be patient, but you can do a lot of things during your PhD. You can learn, you can rediscover yourself, your own potential, and then who knows, there's no bound for anything, there's no upper bound. So before I tell you anything, I will go to the Miss Animator questions. So the Miss Animator, what did he say? I don't know if I can answer all your questions. Let me see. Okay, do you know any good animation school? I want bachelor's in animation. Sorry, presently I don't know any animation schools, but I will put some animation schools in the description, and you can also try searching for it in Google. Obviously Google gives you everything. And one of my advice will be, just type that tag like animation school in Netherlands or something like that in LinkedIn, and you will find a lot of people who have already graduated in that field and maybe working in some industry or something, and that will be really helpful. That is how you can discover some connections by spending some time and doing trial and error. That's how you learn the different things. After how much time of coming to Netherlands we can work as a part-time, and how much minimum wages? I have read on internet that 16-15 euro per month is minimum. Okay, so that's not true. There is a video called part-time jobs in Netherlands. I don't know if you have seen it or not. I have mentioned there everything about the part-time jobs. There was a video on that. Let me see if I can find the video. So otherwise, if it slows down, then maybe you can go to it later. So the thing is that if it's slowing down the internet, so I'm just saying it. You can go for the part-time jobs in Netherlands, and that video I have explained everything. Just type that, see that, and there I have explained the minimum working hours is 16 hours per week, not the wage. So the wage is like hourly, you get like 13 or 14 euros or sometimes 15 euros also, and that's hourly wage. So in a month you can easily earn, depending on how much you are working, 500 euros or 600 euros. And normally if you do part-time in university like teaching or something, then probably you can do it in second or third year. But if you want to work in Domino's or Subway, as I mentioned in that video, in the part-time job video, then you can start them right from first 3 months or 4 months, depending on how fit you are, how fast you are. So there is no time bound for working in off-campus part-time jobs. Please check that video. That video is like 10 or 15 minutes and it has explained everything. So thank you everyone for being patient and joining this, and I will wait 1 more minute if I get any more questions. I don't think anyone has any question about PhD in Netherlands. I think I covered a lot about PhD in Netherlands. And if I don't get any question, then I'll just wrap the video so that everyone is happy, and we'll do more videos. I will create a poll what kind of live streams you need more. So check my community page, and in the community page I generally create these polls where I poll the time which I want to live stream, what kind of topics you are interested, because it is run by you all. So whatever you suggest, I will do them next, and it's like you who is doing everything. So that's how I would say, like, okay, so I don't get any more questions. Thank you everyone for joining the live stream, and whoever has joined, and I hope that I could provide something beneficial for you, and I will meet you in future live streams. Till then, peace from Valkenburg, Netherlands, where I'm living. By the way, this is Indian flag, which doesn't make any sense, but share this video and